What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we got the post-game report to Michigan's 15-20 loss to Indiana. Gonna be going over the key takeaways from this game, my post-game thoughts on the coaching mistakes in this one, but we also go over what went right in this one, and in particular in the second half with the defensive performance, and we also talk about again the offensive woes. Just not enough offense in this one for Michigan as they really found no rhythm in this one. Then we also talk about some post-game quotes from Sherrone Moore. So let's go ahead and get right into it here. And first off, right away, credit to the team, credit to these players for continuing their fight and really their comeback in this game, because Michigan, right away early, they went down 17-3. It was 17-3 at halftime. Offense had one good opening drive that only led to a field goal, so it was not looking good, but this team, they never wavered, they never gave up. They just started chipping away in the second half, and really it was the Michigan defense that really led this comeback for the Wolverines, and quite frankly, Michigan probably should have won this game. This was another winnable game, and when you look at Michigan's record, yeah, they're 5-5. That record could also be worse, but it also could be a lot better because they played in a lot of close games and probably should have won a lot more of those games, including this one and probably the games against Illinois, Washington. They also had a chance against Oregon last week. So, at the end of the day, though, it falls on the coaching staff, and it really falls on the offensive performance. Now, I like Davis Warren. He's a fighter, man. And no disrespect to him, but, if Michigan had a good quarterback, they win this game. They also beat Illinois. They beat Washington. The Oregon game is a closer game. It's pretty clear this season for Michigan how important the quarterback position is. Now, there's also other factors in this one. It was the play calling. Kirk Campbell, he just is not doing a great job, and that's going to be a decision Sherrone Moore has to make in the offseason. But right now, I don't know how you can continue with Kirk Campbell being the offensive coordinator. I don't think this offense has put up 30 points this season, at least in a game, and without the defense helping them out and scoring for them. So statistically, one of the worst offenses we have seen here at Michigan. Now, early on in the game, the wide receivers, they were making some plays. They were getting separation. They were making catches. It was really nice to see. But then after that opening drive, it was really, really rough sailing from there. Now, it wasn't just Davis Warren's poor performance. He went 16 for 32, 137 yards. He didn't have any turnovers, though, and that was, very important in this one, especially with how much he got pressured, because that was a big issue in this one. He was getting pressured a lot, and it's not like Indiana was sending blitzes every single play, but Indiana, they got pressure on 61.8% of Davis Warren's passing attempts per Pro Football Focus. That is not where that number should be, and when you have a quarterback like Davis Warren, who, let's be honest, is not an experienced quarterback, he's a former walk-on, he's not no J.J. McCarthy, so you need a clean pocket for a quarterback like Davis Warren, and Michigan's offensive line is failing to do that. They've been failing all season long, and it is why Davis Warren, he has to roll out, and even when the pocket seems clean, he just continues to roll out, and I think it's just because he doesn't really trust that offensive line to protect him for that long. So it was a major issue. Michigan, they had 206 total yards, 137 passing yards. Again, the rushing game just could not get it going. Only 69 rushing yards in this one, but credit to the defense holding Indiana to 246 total yards, 206 passing yards, 40 rushing yards, and I believe Michigan's defense, Indiana, they had -6 yards in the whole second half with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Their first few drives in the second half, it was 1 play, 1 interception, 5 plays, 14 yards, then 3 plays, -16 yards, and then 6 plays, -4 yards. And Indiana, I believe they only had like 18 or 19 yards the whole second half. So that's how dominant this Michigan defense was. This Michigan defense, Wink Martindale, man, he made some great halftime adjustments, and it's kind of the second week in a row that we've seen this. The first half against Oregon was terrible. Everybody thought it was going to get a lot worse in the second half. This defense came out. Wink Martindale made adjustments. They played phenomenal. They do it again in this one and gave Michigan a chance to come back in this one and probably probably should have won it. They just didn't have enough offense, and Michigan, they had 2 chances in this one with the ball. All they needed to do was get a field goal the first time. They went, might have even been a 3-and-out, but it was really quick. They punted the ball. Defense got another stop, though, gave the offense another chance as they forced Indiana to a field goal. Then Michigan had to go get a touchdown, and obviously Peyton O'Leary fell short by 1 yard of the marker. And after that, Indiana ran the clock out. So the defense gave the offense multiple chances to win this game. They just failed to win it. But TJ Guy, he had a phenomenal second half. He had 2.5 tackle for losses, including 2 sacks. Cameron Brandt, he's been playing phenomenal lately. He had 1 sack, 2 tackle for losses. Jayshawn Barham has been playing phenomenal lately as well. 1 sack, 2 tackle for losses. And Michigan had 4 total sacks and 8 total tackle for losses on defense. Obviously, Zeke Berry did have kind of a rough first half. He picked it up, though. He had an interception, a clutch one, that gave Michigan great field position inside the 10. Couldn't punch it in. Alex Orji did have a fumble, but that was really the only mistake Michigan had. Now Davis Warren, he missed a lot of throws in this one, and some of it was because he was getting pressured. He had to throw off balance, but some of them he just missed, and the receivers were wide open. And we saw him the previous 2 weeks. He was making a lot of great throws, but in this one he was missing a lot of throws. And when your offense is already struggling like that, it just digs a deeper hole for your offense, especially when you can't run the ball. And that's been a major issue lately. Michigan cannot run the ball. The defense, every single defense these past 3 games have been taking the run away, and Michigan has no response. These teams are scheming to take away the run game, and Michigan just can't figure it out. They can't do anything. And some of it is with the offensive line. They just aren't as good as previous years, because in previous years Michigan would just be able to run the ball. Even if the defense knew they were going to be able to run the ball, they still had success. They just couldn't stop it. But this season the offensive line just isn't good enough. So the offense has, as a whole, it's got to get better. It's got to get better real quick going into next season. Sherrone Moore has a lot of decisions to make as far as the offensive coordinator goes, but Sherrone Moore has a lot of improvement to do as well. We saw some mistakes. The challenge on the Alex Orji fumble, that was a waste of a timeout. He also took like 20 seconds off the clock at the end of the game, which at that point Indiana was 2nd and 2. The game was probably already over at that point anyway, but those were precious seconds coming off the clock, and it might not have mattered, but it's still the point. You got to have better game management, better time management than that. And Sherrone Moore knows it. He knows it. He was over there on the sideline. The camera showed him. You could see he was, not happy with himself. So it's a learning experience. It's, a lot that has to get better going into next season. It will get better. Year 2 will be a lot better with this whole brand new coaching staff, but there's also changes that have to be made. But as far as Wink Martindale, he has been calling a great game. He's been making halftime adjustments. The defense has been doing their part recently, guys. So Wink Martindale, I don't really know what you guys want out of this defense. They don't have their best player out of Will Johnson. The secondary was banged up against Oregon. They finally got Jair Hill back today, but even Jair Hill got burned in this game. So the secondary for Michigan, that's something that they got to probably go out in the transfer portal, bring in some guys in the secondary, because it is just, the depth is not there. The talent really is not there either. Michigan has to put a guy who plays in the nickel out of Zeke Berry. They got to put him on the outside to play cornerback, which is just not ideal at all. So credit to Wink Martindale. He's been doing a great job, and I think once he gets his players, once he gets his talent in here, it's going to be a lot better. But the Michigan offense has a lot of improving to do. Sherrone Moore talked post-game. He said on the offensive struggles in the red zone, he said, at the end of the day, we got to go execute. We just didn't execute at a high level. There were some twists, some movements, some zone runs that we didn't pick up, and it was one guy here, one guy there, but that was the story. And we've got to be better. And on the Indiana defense, he said they've got a big front. They've got guys that can hold the point really well, and they move. It wasn't as much as the pressures, but he said we had to get one in the run game. We never did, so that ended up being the story of the game. As far as the pass protection breakdowns, he said it wasn't blitzes or scheme. It was just really one-on-one matchups that guys were getting beat. did say, about the offensive execution, hasn't been there this far into the season. He said, yeah, we're just going to, continue to keep working on it. We'll watch the film, continue evaluating, but proud of the way our guys fought. And he talked about some defensive players. He said Zeke, just a huge play, huge pick, game changer, momentum changer. Then TJ Guy continues to strive to get better. His passion, the way he plays, and then also Cam Brandt, the same thing. Two guys that haven't played as much and are really standing out right now. Those are some of the some things that Sherrone Moore said post game. Michigan loses a close one in a very winnable game, 20-15 on the road at Indiana, and right now they are 0-3 on the road. It seems to be a big issue for this team going on the road, and obviously they got a bye week. Then they play Northwestern at home, and the big one at Ohio State. But with that, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.